Okay, happy October. Welcome to October's City Council meeting. We have everybody at the dais present and accounted for, and we will begin at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, October 10th. If you'll please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please take your seats. And we have anybody from the Comal Crisis Center here tonight? Well, we have a couple of proclamations anyway. Hi, we've met before. Yes. Thanks for being here, Jennifer. A couple of proclamations to read tonight. I'd like to welcome Jennifer from the Comal County Crisis Center with us. Proclamation. Whereas the first Domestic Violence Month was observed in October 1987, the same year the first domestic violence toll-free hotline was initiated, and in 1989, Congress designated October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and in just one day across the United States and its territories, nearly 75,000 victims of domestic violence sought services from domestic violence programs and shelters, but more than 9,000 requests for services, including emergency shelter, housing, transportation, child care, and legal representation, could not be provided because programs lacked the resources to meet the victims' needs. And safe houses continue to be rated as survivors' most urgent need. And the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole throughout Comal County, the United States, and the world. And domestic violence crosses all ethnic, racial, sexual preference, economic, age, educational, and religious lines. And domestic violence affects millions of people each year, but can be prevented, requiring the collective voice and power of individuals, families, institutions, and systems, each whose number one thing adds a valuable and powerful component to transforming communities. And whereas the Crisis Center of Comal County, along with prevention-related programs in this county, has been an invaluable ally in the fight against domestic violence, providing crucial support, resources, and services to survivors within our community. And whereas the City of Garden Ridge is dedicated to remembering the survivors of domestic violence. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Rob Erickson, Mayor of Garden Ridge, do hereby proclaim October 2023 in the City of Garden Ridge as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you. We're welcoming Jennifer. Would you like to say some things, some words?
Yes,
please.
thank you. Hi, I'm Jennifer Hinojosa. I'm the Chief Program Officer of the Crisis Center of Comal County. We're located in New Braunfels, but we serve all of Comal County and surrounding counties. So we are very appreciative of your support. And we are having a vigil to commemorate those who did not survive domestic violence. That will be on Thursday, on the 12th at 6:30 in New Braunfels at the Plaza. So whoever would like to join us. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
Thanks for what you do for our community. Michelle from Night Skies, come on up. It's good to see you again. Has it already been a year? Wow. All right, another proclamation. Whereas the aesthetic beauty and wonder of star-filled skies are the heritage of all humankind, and preserving rich heritage, historic heritage, and the starry night skies of Garden Ridge is important to its residents, and the influx of people into the Texas Hill Country region and the accompanying light pollution from area lighting fixtures has been steadily on the rise, eroding the historical view of the night skies in many nearby areas. And light pollution wastes natural resources amounting to at least $2 billion per year and contributes to diminished American energy independence. And addressing light pollution involves making better use of outdoor lighting to direct light down to where it is needed instead of upward into the sky, putting outdoor lights on timers, and using outdoor lighting only when necessary. And Hill Country communities are increasingly dedicated to the preservation of the region's night skies, as evidenced by the frequent educational activities conducted by the increasing number of places and organizations in our region, including Comal County, Camp Bullis, Garden Ridge, Bracken Cave Preserve, San Antonio Astronomical Association, New Braunfels Astronomy Club, Guadalupe River State Park, and Comal County Friends of the Night Sky. And whereas this regional effort, in addition to the preservation and celebration of our night skies, is worthy of recognition, now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Rob Erickson, Mayor of Garden Ridge, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 2023 in the city of Garden Ridge as Hill Country Night Sky Month. Yay. Thanks. I apologize up front, Michelle, for all my Halloween lights that are up right now, but it only happens once a year.
Okay.
Please,
Christmas
you have some
too?
words? Yes, Christmas
yes.
too.
I just wanted to thank everyone for signing this proclamation. Comal County Friends of the Night Sky started in 2019, and we've grown. We serve all across Comal County. We want to thank you for what you do for the Bracken Bat Cave. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That completes item number 3. Item number 4, citizen comment period. Remember, you have 3 minutes to talk, and we have 2 people signed up tonight. And even though we can't address what you're saying, we are listening and taking notes. Carmen, number 1 on the list. As always, it's good to see you, ma'am, and the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here to talk about that new place that they're thinking of putting in the land between Nacogdoches Loop and Nacogdoches Road, across from Jim Voller and the dental office. I'm not crazy about the aesthetics of it, the building, the metal buildings that are going in. I'm not crazy about the extra lights that are going to be, affecting us, and also the noise, because I'm sure they're going to have music going. We already have early in the morning the high school band. They practice every morning. When I go for a walk at 7 in the morning, they're out there, but that's irrelevant. I was in the band. It's necessary. But also, we also have the train going by and I hear it at night, I hear it during the day, but we don't need more extra noise from music. If the music's going to be inside a building, that's okay, but I want that clarified. Also, the extra lighting going up and across the street, because there's houses. There's also those houses on the loop. I don't know how they are going to be affected by this. That's of course, I don't live there, but still. Anybody here from there? Yes, okay. That to me, it'll affect them more than me, because I live close to here. But yet, I'm not crazy about the people that it will bring to that place. This is a community known. It's a well-known community in Texas to come and live, because it's quiet and it's quiet. There's wonderful people who live here. We don't have the crime that's in the big cities. What was it that Mayor Feibelman, that this is, I forgot his saying. Do you remember? Could you tell me? Okay, that's okay. That this is quite a nice place to live. And I totally agree. And I want to keep it that way. There's a bar down in Bracken. There's bars in other places. But I don't think we need, I know it was going to be called Sinners and Saints. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. And now it's the revival, which I have no clue to what that means. A revival of what? But that's unimportant. I don't like the kind of people that it'll attract.
Carmen, we're out of time, but thank you.
Yeah, but I could go on. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next on the list, Tim Sturman.
Hello, I live at 9404 Gardenia Bend. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to pick up where Carmen left off, I guess. I live in the neighborhood that she's speaking of, right behind in Garden Ridge Estates. I just became aware of this, and we don't want this there. I'm speaking for neighbors that I've talked to in my neighborhood. In addition to what Carmen said, we don't live in a gated community. So the people, we don't live in a gated community. So the people that come to visit us are going to go to the bar, party, and then come into our neighborhood and potentially commit a crime. And we don't want that either. I've talked to several of my neighbors, and the consensus is that we're not going to frequent this place. It's not for us. The people that are here, we're kind of just that type of a venue. It says food trucks, pickleball court, entertainment, outdoor entertainment, and stage. That is something that doesn't appeal to the people that live in our neighborhood, at least the ones that I've spoken with. And so if we're not going to go there, why is it being built there? We live there. So build something else that we want there. That's what we're asking you to do. So please vote no on this special, or I should say disapprove the special use permit. I understand there's a special use permit that needs to be acquired. And to me, that says that this is something that the founders of Garden Ridge or the people that wrote these requirements didn't want here. So why are we putting it here, especially if the residents don't want it? So that's, I guess, what I have to say. I just found out about this a few days ago. I think if you reach out to your constituents, you're going to hear the same thing from other people. So please do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that's all we had signed up for item number 4, citizen comment period. We'll move on to item number 5, consent agenda. These items may be acted upon in a single motion. No separate discussion or action on these items will be held unless requested by a council member. Public comment on these items may be heard during citizens' participation. However, that does not mean that the item will be considered outside the consent agenda. Council, does anybody have anything they want to pull from this month's consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? We'll call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda passes as written. On to item number 6, staff reports. 6A, city manager monthly activity report. Nancy, ma'am, general, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. First of all, I wanted to report that Officer Richard McMahon received an honor quilt, or a quilt of honor, from the Cibolo Grange. The organization wanted to recognize him for his service and sacrifice to the community. They also accompanied the certificate with a letter of support to the Garden Ridge Police Department. They state that on behalf of the members of the Cibolo Grange, 1541, and the citizens of Cibolo, Texas, we would like to express our appreciation and support for the efforts of the Garden Ridge Police Department in protecting and serving the members of our communities. The dedication, expertise, and professionalism of your officers speaks volumes for your department and the city of Garden Ridge. Then the next item I wanted to share with council was a thank you that we received from the communities and schools of South Central Texas. As you know, we report in their, or we participate in the Pack the Bus school drive, school supply drive, and they are extending their deep appreciation to the city for being a collection site for the school supplies. Then, the International Institute of Municipal Clerks confers the title of Certified Municipal Clerk to Marissa Spencer. She gets to add CMC at the end of her name when she signs city documents. Congratulations, Marissa. Then we have 7 employees that we need to honor for October anniversaries. The first one is Courtney Billy, 1 year. Ryan Ferguson, for 3 years service. Marissa Spencer, 8 years. Dwayne Scognio, 10 years. Stanley George, 13 years. Manuel Troncoso, 15 years. And Linda Crossland, 16 years. Thank you all for your service to the city of Garden Ridge. Okay, September, we had 224.25 volunteer hours. Library had 135 of those hours. Utility bill stuffers had 6.25 hours, and the Parks Committee had 83. And the last thing I wanted to state was that the next First Friday will not be held until February of 2024. It's so hard to believe we're that close to that new year. And Mayor, didn't you have something you wanted to say about First Friday?
As a matter of fact, I did. We won an award. This 15-pound obelisk up here, solid crystal, highly sought after, very difficult to find. No, for the Texas Municipal League annual convention and annual awards for cities 25,000 and under, we won the Spirit Award for First Friday. So that's everybody in this room, out in the audience that participates, at the dais, city staff that makes it happen. Everybody in the city of Garden Ridge, literally in the city staff and employees, everyone's touched First Friday, along with all the council members, and like I said, so many of you out in the audience and out there in YouTube land. So thank you. We're going to keep it going, and I'll be out of town for the one for the first Friday in November. Kelly, sorry. You're welcome to go to Paul Davis Park and hang out, but going to the Air Force Army game. So that's, and the first Friday in December is tree lighting. So anyway, so we'll be there in February. So thank you for everybody that helped make this happen. And thank you for Jesse and Linda Valdez for being there with us up in Dallas last Wednesday. We had a great time, and I look like the guy from an Allstate commercial. You're in good hands with Allstate up there, but because you can't see the tower. So thanks, Nancy. Thanks, council and city.
That's all I had.
Hey, we got to add 122 hours from Todd putting together the families of Garden Ridge with the Scouts and the football team and National Honor Society from Davenport High School in September, which was outstanding. We had 80 people there.
Yeah, probably hear more.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's obviously, it's awesome. So, yeah, probably more than 120. I'll get you an official count. 200 hours is what I'm counting right now.
Well, with the 122 hours, that brings us up to 346.25 volunteer hours during the month of September. That's a lot of volunteer hours.
Outstanding. Thank you. And Marissa, you're about to run out of signature space with another couple letters after your name. So we're going to have to work on spacing and whatnot. Yeah, you got to write smaller. 10 font from now on. Congratulations. That's it, Nancy? That's all right, awesome. Robin, you're up. Finance, HR.
I have just a short update for the finance and HR department. We're in the end of our end of year. Tina and I are getting a lot of accounting stuff wrapped up for the 2023 fiscal year, and we still do have our audit scheduled for November 6th. So we're gathering documents together and getting those to the auditor. We just found out today we're going to have a virtual workers' comp audit coming up. And the last thing that I have is that we have a official full-time assistant librarian. Wendy accepted, so we have a full-time assistant librarian starting as of October 1st. And that's all I have.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robin. Council, any questions for Finance, HR? All right. Marissa, you're on. City Secretary, CMC.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight a couple things on my report, that we do have some commission vacancies for anybody that might be here tonight or watching on YouTube land. I can't, I tried, but no, I can't call it that. We have commissions on our planning, or vacancies on our Planning and Zoning Commission and our Water Commission. So if you're interested, you can go to the city's website and submit your volunteer interest form and attach a resume. And so we can conduct interviews hopefully soon. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight is the November election is coming up, and the city of Garden Ridge is a polling location for that uniform election date. Today was the last day to register to vote, and early voting will start on Monday, October 23rd, and it'll go through Friday, November 3rd. And election day voting will then be conducted up at the Community and Event Center on Tuesday, November 7th. Again, this is not the city's election, we're just a polling location, so any additional information about this election you can find on the Comal County Clerk's Office Elections and Voter Registration website. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Marissa. Council, any questions for Marissa? All right. Chief, you're up.
Thank you. So everything's in my report. I do want to highlight at the top of the report, you'll notice that there were 89 Ordinance 61 water violation citations issued last month. So for the last over a year since we've been in restrictions, everyone's had plenty of time to make adjustments, do all that. We've issued warnings after warnings. Everybody is fully aware of this. It's on every news channel, social media, everything. So as of 1 October, I said no more warnings. It's going to be citations, and there was 90. I bring it up not because we wrote those, but because talking to Stephen, there's already been a significant noticeable reduction in water usage during those prohibited hours. A huge amount, hundreds of thousands of gallons. So we had to do it somehow. This is how we're getting our water usage under control. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm sure you're probably hearing about it. And the only other thing I want to add to it is make note at the bottom, from our last alumni class, we now have 13 new CP drivers. So now we have 13 new folks that want to go out and do citizen patrol drives around the neighborhood to help us watch what's going on and take care of the community as well.
That's great, Chief. Thank you so much. And I haven't heard anything from anybody about the citations, but a water reduction that you talked about That's amazing. Thanks. That's great. And I want to publicly make sure that you guys get credit for all the help that you provided for the third annual homecoming parade for Davenport High School. I know that's a lot of work for the PD, and you guys come out and you do it graciously and professionally and personally, and we all appreciate that.
So it was big. It's getting bigger.
It was big, it was getting bigger. What was your estimate?
True estimate or your estimate?
Okay, no, give me the true one, then we'll modify.
I think about 800.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, 1,250 is what I heard. So, that was great.
But then again, I'll be honest, I did not get around to the backside during a lot of it. I was on the other side of the property, so,
Yeah,
I'll have to give you this one.
it was a lot. It was a lot. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate everything you guys do for that. And we have no idea all the work that goes into it, but you did great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sal, thanks. Anybody, anything else for Garden Ridge PD? All right, we'll move on. Stephen, you're up twice. You have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the month of September, Public Works Department completed 530 work orders, removed 75 pounds of trash from right-of-ways, installed one sign, filled potholes on Forest Waters and Old Nacogdoches, installed a concrete Christmas tree foundation at the community center for the new tree that we're going to be putting up this year. Met with residents about the new proposed trench location, and we'll be talking about that more in detail on item 9, approvals and authorizations. The Public Works Department attended a chainsaw safety course held at the community center. As a reminder, bulk dumpsters will be back in November. We have 3 dogs, 1 cat ready for adoption, and we also trapped 8 hogs in Trophy Oaks subdivision in September. That's all I have for Public Works.
Thank you, Stephen. Public Works, Council, anything for Public Works? All right. We have a council member that is now in the business of adopting cats. And so, Todd, I wanted you to see that there's 1 cat available for adoption.
It has to adopt me, it's the opposite.
Okay. Stephen, if you could bring a cat to Todd's house, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, right on Bat Cave Road, just shouldn't be too much trouble. Thank you. You can keep going with water.
Water. Edwards is still currently in stage 4 restrictions. From Edwards, we pumped 34.9 acre feet from the Edwards with a total year-to-date of 245.11, and we have 235.11 left over for the year. We pumped 88.32 from the Trinity with a year-to-date total of 571 acre feet. All required monthly distribution samples passed. We had a low water loss of 0.7% in September. And stage 2 restrictions alert were 883, down 35 from August. That's all I have for utilities, water department.
Thank you, Stephen. Jesse? Not my first rodeo. Go ahead.
Well, first on you have it on the screen here, this is a great accomplishment to have total unsold, only 334. That's the lowest I've ever seen, I think. I don't know, what was done, but I know the consumption's up, but actual sold, so it's still a great number, so great work. So, following up on what the chief was saying about the water, even though it's went down from last month, it's still 19 acre feet higher than September last year, which is almost 6 million gallons. So, the last 3 months, we pumped 18 million gallons of water more than the third quarter last year. The first half of the year started out real good, 37.5 million below, but it's come back up. So, year to date, we're still 19 million above last year. Or that's 19 million less than last year, so. But anyway, I know aquifer, the rain really helped the aquifer, so it came up. The flow in the Comel is still low, still below 100. So, great work in keeping track of the pumping there. I think we'll be okay by the end of the year. So, good work there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. Council, anybody else for Stephen? Thank you, Stephen. Great job as always. All right, moving on to Miss Linda, Library Monthly Activity Report. Is it good to have a full-time employee again? Yay.
Yes, it is. I'm so appreciative. It's just wonderful. And also congratulations, Mayor and Council, on your innovative and creative First Friday and that well-deserved award. It's wonderful to be recognized. We do have a busy season coming up. This coming Saturday is, in case I haven't mentioned it 900 times, the solar eclipse. It's an annular solar eclipse, meaning the sun won't be completely blocked out. We're having like a party, and it's going to be in the city parking lot. I have no idea how many people will come, but everyone needs to bring your own chairs. We do have the glasses for your, you can't see anything through these right now. I mean, you should try them on later. But they're cute. But we'll start about, the partial eclipse starts about 10:23. We'll be getting ready to give out glasses around 10:30 because it just starts at that time. Because of the warnings that NASA has given us on how to use these glasses, we are going to find it necessary to have people sign a waiver, just because, well, you know, there are things that make common sense, but you know how hard that is to find? As someone said, common sense is like deodorant. Those who need it the most never use it. So that's why we're making people wait until Saturday. Now, once you come, sign your waiver and get your glasses. If you choose to leave, that's what you can do. You can do what you wish. You are all invited. Everybody who's listening is invited. I don't mean to be stingy. We do have a lot of glasses, and I want people to enjoy this great event. The Friends of the Library are going to serve pizza about 12:15, 12:30. Now, this isn't tax money. It's something they're doing. And you really need to let us know if you're coming. It would help. Okay. Then on October 19th, we're having a very timely lunch and learn, and I don't think I didn't send a picture of that, Courtney. It's on water conservation and rain catchment. Could we get more timely? Stephen Granger and Larry's son are going to speak on water availability issues, the latest techniques for collecting and filtering and storing rainwater, and environmentally sound methods of landscaping. And then, as Council Member Valdez said last month, the GRCPA car show is October 21st, and the library is going to have a kids' corner there. We'll have some games and entertainment for the children, and at 1 o'clock we'll have a movie, Cars, what else? But anyway, you're welcome to bring your kiddos and keep them happy while you go look under hoods and kick a few tires. And finally, on Halloween, we're hosting Trunk or Treat, as you know, and it'll be held in the school's parking lot, just like last year. And we're going to have a DJ this year, so we'll have some live, sort of fun, upbeat entertainment. And we have at least one food truck coming. Unfortunately, the people who do the little mini haunted house can't do it this year because the man had surgery, knee surgery, and they had extra stuff they had bought. They bought all the surplus things from a Halloween store, so maybe next year. Of course, we're still looking for people who can host a trunk and just to help make it a great success. And one last mention. You probably are aware that we offer a program called Cards for Troops. The gals who make these cards have created over 500 handmade cards like this. And we're just one group of many who are sending them to deployed troops. So these are Christmas cards this month. So when a military person is overseas and they need a card to send back home, they can go pick these up. They all have envelopes with them, and they can write back home. There are only about 6 to 8 women who've done this, and they all deserve a lot of thanks and a lot of credit, but especially Cheryl Byther, who she picks the designs and most of the supplies. She always comes up with a theme, so kudos to all of them. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Miss Linda. Looking forward to Trunk or Treat Council.
Yes.
Anything for Miss Linda? Okay, so I got, just to make sure we have this right, don't look at the sun without special glasses.
Right.
Right? And take your kids to see cars while you go look at cars underneath the hood, but don't kick the tires of the car owners that might get them
Right.
upset. And everybody sign up for Trunk or Treat. Did I get that right?
You have got it. Perfect.
Don't look
That-
directly at the sun.
That's why you get that big award.
Thank you, Ms. Linda.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that concludes item number 6. Item number 7, city engineer project status reports. Sam, sir, always good to see you. City of Garden Ridge is busy these days.
Good evening.
Good evening. Floor is yours, sir. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. There's not much to report besides the 2252. We're like at 46% right now. They're still dealing with a lot of rock and other utilities in the way of our water line alignment. So it's slowing it down quite a bit. So I guess we can go ahead and jump into the progress report for the project. So we're just before, we started at just outside the Arrowwood subdivision, and we're just before Hickory Bend, maybe 30 feet, 40 feet. No, I'm fine. So we're about 30 feet away from the actual intersection of 2252 and Hickory Bend. The casing has already been installed. Now they're just trying to get the pipe through the casing. Next slide, please. So this is past the driveways. There's a casing on the right, picture on the right, and we have the pipe through. This is under one of the driveways. We have to put PVC casing under each driveway. So this is on one of the driveways. We have the casing and a pipe in, and I think they've already redone the driveway in this area. Next slide, please. This is working towards Hickory Bend. You can see the tubing at the top on the left picture. That's AT&T fiber optic line. That's been in the trench the entire way we've been digging between Arrowwood and Hickory Bend. So what they have to do, they have to trench, support that cable, make sure it's secure and not damaged, and then try to lay the pipe. So it's been slowing them down quite a bit. Next slide, please. This is another photo of the crossing across the driveway. One of the driveways, I believe this is the last driveway we crossed. You can see the green pipe is the PVC casing, and the blue is the water line. The picture on the right, the pipe that's sticking up is a witness pipe, so there's a valve or a bend or something to that effect right there. And you can still see the AT&T line on top to the left. So they've been fighting with that the entire way. Next slide, please. This is the casing that was put in. Kind of mention it or explain what was going on there. You can go to the next one, please. So this is where we're starting to get to Hickory Bend. So they crossed the last driveway. They have the pipe in. Now they're breaking up the rock to get to the pit on the right, which is the casing crossing under Hickory Bend. So they should be there, I don't know, maybe Monday, installing the pipe. Hopefully, if there's no more issues. There was some damage done to a water line. Water line got hit, so that unaccounted for water may jump up a little bit. But they had it resolved in 20, 30 minutes, so they're pretty quick about fixing it. But it was something that was hidden error. The maps didn't display where the water line actually was. So, but like I said, they got it fixed pretty quick. But yeah, this is where they're at now. About 46% complete of the entire project. But the next step on this section is to put the pipe through the casing. And also they have to go on the other side of Hickory Bend and excavate, and there's a lot of utilities there as well. So that's gonna take a little bit of time to get through there as well. So, and this solid rock, I didn't anticipate this much rock, but it's been solid rock pretty much the entire way they've been trenching. So that's my report.
Thank you, Sam. We appreciate that. Council, this is something that we wanted both Sam and Stephen to keep track of and to brief us on so that you can be in the loop with what's going on with utility placement and replacement, as well as all of our residents can stay in the loop. This is all necessary work prior to TxDOT being able to rock and roll to make 2252 a 4-lane highway. So
Yes.
all of this stuff has to be moved. And Sam, I appreciate you being out there so much. And literally, council, very few times do I drive by when they're working and Stephen's not right there, or someone from Public Works standing right there and supervising the whole thing and watching over it. So bravo, Sam, bravo, Stephen. We appreciate all your hard work. And Stephen, thanks for your daily updates on it and keeping all of us in the loop. That's great. Council, any questions or comments for Sam?
Just want to add, I did talk to TxDOT, so that road work was supposed to start this month. They're thinking maybe the beginning of the year, so it's giving us a little bit more time to get out of their way. But once we are out of the way, they're going to be starting on the Evans Road side and working back towards 300.
Okay, that's good news. Thanks, Sam.
No problem, thank you.
Okay, that concludes item number 7. On to item number 8, City Commission and Committee Reports, Recommendations, Possible Actions. 8A, Planning and Zoning Commission, 8A1, Preliminary Plat combining a 1.4 acre tract and a 1.707 acre tract to create a 3.107 acre tract to be known as Lot 1, Block 1, The Revival, located at 19186 FM 2252 and owned by Eric T. Fisher. 8A1.1, received recommendation from Planning and Zoning Commission. Karen, welcome. It's good to see you. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, based on what the mayor just said, Planning and Zoning did discuss Mr. Fisher's request to combine his two different acre plats. And after much discussion, Planning and Zoning decided to recommend that a city council approve this combination of his 1.4 acre tract and 1.707 acre tract. And just in case you wanted to ask some questions, I do know Mr. Fisher is in the audience. So, but again, Planning and Zoning recommends approval. I don't know if you.
Thank you, Karen. No, we'll proceed right from here to 1.2, discuss and take action. So when you guys, Karen, okay, no worries. I was going to ask you a quick question. The vote.
It was unanimous.
Okay, to recommend the preliminary.
The combination of the
tracts.
plats.
Okay, thank you very much. So what I want to make sure that we all understand what we're doing here tonight. This is not approving or disapproving or voting on or discussing a special use permit. It's got nothing to do with that, actually. What we're doing is granting permission and saying yes to combining two tracts of land for one owner. It doesn't matter what the tract is called. It just, all we need to vote on is, has the owner met all of the ordinance regulations and requirements from the city and the state of Texas? And that's all we're doing tonight. We're not talking about whether we agree or disagree, what it could be called or what could go there. We're talking about an owner's right to combine two tracts of land adjacent to each other to turn them into one preliminary plat. And then from there, we go, depending on your vote, we go further with the process. So Nancy, did I miss anything?
No, I think you adequately covered it.
Cynthia, are we missing anything legally? Yes, sir. Okay. And Mr. Fisher has completed everything he needs to do legally and according to the ordinances of the city of Gardner Ridge and the state of Texas. Okay, thank you. Council, discussion.
If he's met all requirements, I don't have much to say other than, why keep somebody that owns two parcels of land from combining their land?
Yes, please.
I would add in, legal requirements are that if a plat meets all the regulatory matters of the city has no other option but to approve the plat.
Thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate that clarification. Lisa?
I agree with Kelly. It's something we need to do.
Jesse?
No questions, concerns. I accept P&Z's recommendation.
Todd? Okay.
It's legal.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Fisher regarding tonight's actions? No. All right. So if there's no further discussion and no other questions, can I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the preliminary plat combining 1.4 acre tract and a 1.707 acre tract to create a 3.107 acre tract owned by Eric Fisher. I'll skip everything else. Anyway.
Okay. We have a motion to approve as written. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve as written and second. Todd, just under the wire. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Karen, floor still yours. Any further updates?
Just one item. I'm going to reiterate what Marissa already said in her report. Planning and zoning does have 2 openings for 2 commissioners, and we look forward to anyone being interested to submit their information, their resume, and we look forward to interviewing for these 2 positions. That's it.
Thank you, Karen. Volunteering for a commission is a great way to learn the ins and outs of the city. So would love to have any, and whoever would like to come forward and volunteer, give us a shout. Anything else, council, for P&Z? Great. We'll move on to Water Commission. Chairman Jim Mueller is not here tonight, but we had a note from him. Nancy, do you want to talk about what he had to say? And then we'll go on.
Sure. The Water Commission met on September 19th. They have 3 commissioners whose terms of office are expiring at the end of the month. Those commissioners are Commissioner Mueller, Commissioner Harshbarger, and Commissioner Carmichael. All 3 are willing to continue serving in their capacity for another term, which is 2 years. Water Commission recommends council reappoint the 3 commissioners, which are Mueller, Harshbarger, and Carmichael, for another 2-year term of office.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Jim, wherever you are out there. I'm sure you're watching tonight. Council, any discussion regarding these commissioners that are willing to go on for another 2-year term, especially Kevin Harshbarger? This will be his 5th term. He's great to have. Anything, council?
I'd like to
Okay.
say
Thank you.
Please, okay?
I'm sorry. I said I'd just like to thank them for their service.
Yeah, they do amazing work, and we depend greatly upon them. So, okay, if there's no further discussion, can I have a motion to approve the recommendation to reappoint the 3 commissioners? Kelly? This one's easy. You got it? Yes, just read 1.1, and you'd be great.
All right, motion to approve recommendations for reappointment, Commissioner Carmichael, Commissioner Mueller, and Commissioner Harshbarger to serve another term with terms expiring September 30th, 2025.
We have a motion to approve, a second?
Second.
Motion to approve and a second from Jesse. Any further discussion? You're slow. Okay, we'll call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and thank you to Commissioner Mueller, Commissioner Harshbarger, and Commissioner Carmichael. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it. Moving on to 8C, Parks Committee. Mr. Chamberlain. As always, it's good to see you. The floor is yours, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor. Council members, thank you for the opportunity. Our last general membership meeting was on September the 13th, and our next general meeting will be held tomorrow, Wednesday, October the 11th at 9:30 in the Blue Bonnet Room at the Community Center. Since our last meeting, the Parks Committee has been working on mostly administrative activities involving the support of our 5 city parks, Paul Davis, Park Lane, Regency Oaks, Eagle Scout, and Harvey B. Bell. The countdown continues. We are T-minus 52 days and counting to our 9th annual Christmas tree lighting celebration, which will be held the first Friday in December, December the 1st. The celebration will take place at the Community Center. The Parks Committee will have all hands on deck starting tomorrow to push forward on the throttle and go full steam ahead towards making this year's celebration even more exciting and festive for all of our kids and for the adults who come to participate, helping us kick off the holiday Christmas season for our city. So save the date, December the 1st, Friday evening, great time for everyone, entertainment, candy, drinks, games, holiday photo ops, and Santa, I've been told, will be arriving again this year because we did such a good job last year hosting it for him, and more. More information to follow. Check out our city official website, Facebook, as well as the Grapevine for more details. Our focus over the next 90 days will be everything about celebrating the beginning of the Christmas holiday season for the city, developing our 2024 Parks Committee calendar, identifying any special projects for the parks, and start planning for our 48th 4th of July celebration. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out to any one of the chairs on the Parks Committee, myself, Dr. Jim, or Linda Potts. And if anyone would like to join the Parks Committee or has suggestions, you can reach us at gardenridgeparks@gmail.com. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the update. Any questions from you or from the council?
Thank you so much, Rod. Council, any questions for Rod Chamberlain? Okay, great job, as always. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Okay, that concludes item number 8. We're on to item number 9, approvals and authorizations. The following items are for discussion, consideration, and action. 9A, Community and Event Center Agreement. Nancy, would you like to brief council on this item?
Sure. Well, we are proposing a few changes or adjustments to our community center agreement, rental agreement, as well as the rate schedule for the community center. It's a few years past due. We are seeing a tremendous amount of usage at the center. The biggest change that was done to the agreement itself, in the past, we've always had a $150 security deposit for use of our electronic equipment. We would like to see there, rather than that refundable deposit, there be a $100 charge for usage of the electronic equipment at the community center. So that was really the biggest change to the rental agreement itself. Other than we did, Marissa did a lot of formatting and cleaning up to make the document look a little bit more professional. Schedule A, which is the procedures and guidelines that the renter has to review and sign off on as well. We've made a few changes to that. One of the things that we have added is that minors even in the presence of their parent or guardian, cannot be served or consume alcohol. We are addressing barbecuing at the center. You can barbecue in a pit or some sort of cooking unit, but it has to be a minimum of 10 feet away from the building, and it cannot be located under the covered pavilions. We are prohibiting fireworks and sparklers as for receptions and parties. We're starting to get a lot of requests from people. It's very popular to do the sparklers and little firework novelty type things at wedding receptions. We would also are proposing to prohibit any parking of vehicles or trailers under any of the covered pavilions while the center is being used. We currently have the alcohol event and the no alcohol event schedules that are posted in the center for each usage so that security knows what is allowed and what is not allowed at the facility. In other words, there's alcohol event or it's a non-alcohol event. So we've added those to the contract or to the agreement. The changes to the rate schedule are both residential and non-residential rate schedules will see the same equal increase in the different rates. Hourly rates on both categories increases $25. The whole day rate will increase $300. Additional hours rate increases by $25. And the adding of the Bluebonnet Room to their rental of the Wildflower Room will increase by $50. Another thing that we are adding to the rate schedule is we've increased the cleanup setup fee by $50, which takes it from $150 to $250. That's something now that we do offer. And we are adding a $50 stage removal or relocation fee. That stage takes several employees to move it anytime it needs to be removed or relocated. The other thing we have done is we have a usage category. The usage category defines residents, non-residents. And then we have the city-affiliated nonprofit organizations that use our facility for events. And that category is refined to the CPA and to the Bracken Volunteer Fire Department. Our nonprofit service organizations has been refined to include the Women's Club, the Lions Club, Scout Pack 828, Comal County Children's Advocacy Center, Tri-County Chamber of Commerce, and any other governmental entities and agencies. Our nonprofit associations, we've refined that to be schools, churches, political organizations, homeowners, neighborhood organizations, Comal Master Gardeners, and then, of course, the city use is city official or city-sponsored functions. The changes to Category 3 and 2 is what we would do is we would charge $100 for rental for, say, they had a 4-day event for a special event. The 4 days would allow set up the event, cleanup, and we would charge $100 for all 4 days. We are proposing and asking for an increase to be $100 per day that they have that facility for setup, event, and tear down. the nonprofit organizations, they have a 3-day event limit, and that would be $100 for each day they would be using that facility. The reason for this is there's utilities, there's cleaning, and there are a lot of supplies that end up being utilized during the events, and this kind of helps us recover some of our cost. Those are predominantly the big changes, other than we would like this to become effective tomorrow, October the 11th, for any new contracts that come in, if council so desires to approve this.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. Like you said, it's a long time coming. Right now, with our fee schedule as it's written, not what is proposed, not only do we have one of the nicest facilities around with our community center, the Wildflower Room and the Bluebonnet Room, but we have literally the least expensive around. And we need to increase our fees, not to make profit, but to make it manageable for the city of Garden Ridge. We put a lot of work into that. As Nancy pointed out, we keep increasing our usage. I mean, just from her monthly report, fiscal 21-22 was 271, 22-23, 286, and we're on track to break that just with this month going in fiscal 24. So we need to increase our fees to make it more reasonable for the city of Garden Ridge and to recoup some of our losses going into it. And even with this fee increase, with what we provide at the community center, we are still the most competitive venue around, in my opinion. So I highly recommend that, pending further questions and discussion, I highly recommend we approve this to take effect tomorrow, the 11th of October. Let's start on this side. Kay, discussion.
Yes, sir. I approve I'm in favor of the changes, recommended changes, but I also would like to get Kim's input for a few months to see if she has significant, feedback from maybe former renters or so on and so forth, or if anyone specifically says this is too expensive, which I don't think it is. But I think the feedback could be valuable.
Okay, thanks. Nancy, we'll track that.
Okay.
Todd?
Jesse and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. The nonprofit side, do we want to go, there's a PAC and a troop for 828.
Oh, okay.
Another option I just sitting here thinking of is, what if there's a Girl Scout troop that wants to use it that maybe isn't necessarily located right here, but they're in Schertz, or somebody local? Do we want to just call it Boy/Girl Scouts and we got it all covered?
What is the correct terminology? Is it Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or just Scouts?
If you want to cut legal hairs, it's Scouting BSA, and I don't know what the Girl Scout side of it is. That keeps, the Boy Scout side of it is now Scouting BSA because it's not just boys.
Okay. Then I would recommend just we call it Scouts.
Cynthia, any input on that, what we should call it? Scouts?
Scouts.
Okay. I think that's great input. Todd?
Okay.
I would imagine council's going to give you the thumbs up on that one. So, anything else?
No.
Jesse?
And I'm agreeing with everything else. I'm good.
Lise? Kelly?
Yes, sir. I just want to second what you said. We're working on some enhancing the marketing for the community center as well, and in our researching and then talking with Kim, I mean, our rates were way too low. So, and I think this is going to open up opportunities to make it even more marketable with some aesthetical upgrades from the extra money we bring in, hopefully. So I'm all for it.
I agree. Awesome. Okay, with that discussion, and most likely the only caveat to changing Scouts PAC 828 to Scouts, can I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the recommended recommendations for the new community center agreement.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as written with the addendum of changing Scouts Pack 828 to Scouts. Do we have a second?
Second.
Lisa, out of the wire. Yeah, I know.
We were racing.
Lisa got the second. Any further discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously with amendment. Thank you. On to item number 9B. Nancy, you are still on with Oak Wilt outbreak abatement, trenching, and expense to the city.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as least confusing as possible. Courtney, can you bring up that map, please? Okay. This map here shows all of the oak wilt abatement projects that we have done in the city of Garden Ridge since the first outbreak in 2013. As you can see, it's fairly well confined to the area around the park and the outer portion of Forest Waters. The last trench project we did is reflected in, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this one, is reflected in the white trench line. That was done in 2020. Then you are going to see 3 yellow dots out to the right-hand side of that trench line. Those are 3 additional oak wilt trees that are infected with oak wilt that were discovered in late 2022. We ran into problems where we were trying to get the property owners as well as a representative from Texas A&M Forest Service together so we could talk about the trench. And lo and behold, those other 3, or 1 or 2 of the other trees popped up. So we knew that the oak wilt was spreading. The Forest Service biologist, our representative, does not believe that this has been an infection in an open wound. This is the traveling of the disease through the root system. So the last 3 trees, those yellow dots, is where trees were infected because the root system was most likely below the trench that was dug in 2020. We are proposing the yellow line. It starts there along between the park and Mr. Young, right, Stephen?
Yes.
The neighbor who abuts Paul Davis Park. The yellow line would go between that. It would go down Bluebell up to Sorrel, go left on Sorrel, keep going, all the way up to the orange line, which will go through 2 properties down to close to Forest Waters Lake. That is the proposed trench line. The trenching will occur in the roadway except for where the yellow line is in the short area between the park and the adjoining property owner. But the remainder of that will be in the roadway. This trench will be 6 inches deeper than previous trenches. The problem we have run into is not only because of the length of the trench, which in total, the city's portion is 1,830 feet, 360 feet additional is what trenching that will occur in private properties. Since trenching was done in 2020, trenching has gone up from $3 a foot to $13.10 a foot. In your packet, I provided a little worksheet concerning city cost, and then a worksheet for private property owners. We can start with the private property owner worksheet. There's 370 feet that go through private property. Private property owners are responsible for trenching on their property. The city has budgeted $14,000 in the 2024 Oak Wilt program budget line item. And at the estimated cost of trenching, it's estimated that the two property owners are going to expend $4,995. Of that, the city will reimburse them out of the Oak Wilt program 50% of their trenching cost. And the city has applied for a grant with Texas A&M Forest Service for $4,500, which we've been told we have the grant. So that grant, when we spread that out over the amount of feet for the entire trenching, property owners, those two private property owners would be reimbursed $2.04 per foot. So through that grant program, they would receive $756.65 in total. The city would have remaining out of that grant $3,743 that can be applied to the city's trenching cost. Have I confused y'all already totally? Okay.
Keep going.
Can we go to the city cost only worksheet? Okay. The rock saw, or the trenching for the 54th inch depth at 1,830 feet is going to cost the city $24,705. Of course, you've got other fees that are going to be due with that trencher, like the delivery costs, the sawtooth, the soil haul away and removals from the street, as well as there are a lot of other utilities that are going to be affected, and those will have to be hand dug at a cost of $750 each. There's 8 different locations. So that will end up being the city's responsibility. The total trenching cost to the city would be $43,635. That does not include the private property. This is only city's cost. The city's portion of the A&M grant would be $3,743 some odd cents. And after the city pays the 50% of the private property owner's trenching costs through our Oak Wilt program, there would be $11,502 left in that program, which if council approves the city moving forward with this project, I would recommend that we take that balance and we apply it towards our cost. That is going to leave us $28,389 that we don't have budgeted. And we will have to include that portion of that expense in the next budget amendment. We will have some roadway repairs. Stephen estimates at about $8,000. We will do that work ourselves here. He has money currently in his 24 street repair line item to cover that cost. I know that's a lot of information. I know it's very confusing. Can I answer any questions?
You did a great job. Thank you. So I'm going to break it down fighter pilot wise so I can
Okay.
wrap my head around it. Okay. This represents a tremendous amount of work that Stephen, our wildlife specialist, Nancy, Robin, everybody in the city that has their hands in this has worked to put this together. They've done a great job of keeping me in the loop and discussing it in the office when we have our updates, and it's a big project. So thank you for putting all of this together. When we first came up with a price tag of $48,000, obviously, I don't know if you felt it in Gardner Ridge, but the office of the mayor kind of shook and like, how are we going to do that? And so what we've done is we've broken it down into manageable chunks and found things that we can help apply towards that overall cost that take down the cost that we've already budgeted for to move on so it's not so expensive. A couple of other things. We have reserve accounts and we plan for this. And reserve accounts for us, our reserves that we build up are the same thing as your checking or not your savings account at home. That we build up for rainy day, we build up for unexpected expenditures that we need to look at and approve to help out the overall welfare of the city of Garden Ridge, in this case, our oak trees, which we all know how important they are to us. So if you can bring the map up, Courtney. Okay. So it all started, I don't know if you can see the green pointer thinger, 2013 with an outbreak right here. Pretty adjacent to the park. We don't have proof, but we think that was a beetle infestation. Is that right, Nancy? Back in the day? Okay, so we think that was not trimming correctly and a beetle infestation, so we trenched around there. We had another outbreak in 2016. We don't know what caused that, but these root systems are all interconnected. Obviously from the surface down to possibly 5 feet. So, and through the rock. And it's the root systems that make our live oaks so strong. But our root systems can also cause spread of disease from one group of trees to another. And these are actually, they're in the same group when you talk to an arborist. So we trenched around here in 2016. A couple more outbreaks in 2018 adjacent to the park. These are the two trees that we've seen that have recently been cut down, but we trenched around them in 2018 here and here with property owners. This was city trench. And then in 2020, we had the outbreak of these two trees, same grouping, and we did one more round of trenching all the way around here, and that was to a depth of 48 inches, so 4 feet. We recently, last year in late '22, discovered these two trees, these three trees, these groupings, if you will, that share the root system right past the trench. So the trench, we can't say that it didn't work, but it didn't work for these three trees, but it could have worked to save other trees around it. But we only went down 4 feet. So our proposal is now, in order to save this grouping of trees and around it once and for all, is to dig a 54-inch trench, another 6 inches all the way around, like Nancy said, and then the property owners right here would be responsible for this 370 or 380 feet. This, in my opinion, this is our last ditch effort, if you will, to eradicate the oak wilt problem in this grouping of trees. I would say that in this case, it's important that we do this one last ditch effort. If it works, and we'll know in a couple of years, a year or two, if it works, then great. If it doesn't, I would say we get out of the trenching business because it's very expensive and we don't know how effective it is. Is it possible that without trenches, we could have lost many more trees? Yes. Is it possible that our trenches didn't have any effect at all? Yes. We don't know. All we can do is have our best educated guess from the professionals. And we've been talking about this with the professionals for the better part of 6 months after the discovery. So what we can do, like Nancy said with the cost breakdown, is dig a trench, a 54-foot trench, 54 feet, 54-inch trench all the way around, and then the property owners make up this portion. We have a cost-sharing program that's going to take, that we budget for, that's going to take down the cost for our property owners and for the city. We have what Nancy talked about from Texas Wildlife, Parks and Wildlife, to help us, or Texas A&M Wildlife Program to help us out with the cost. And we also budget for this. We don't budget $48,000 for it, but we have brought that down to, what's the number, Nancy, that we've gotten it down to?
We've gotten it
$28,389.15. We have that in our reserves. We have that in our savings. We have much more than that, obviously, and this is what we use these things for, unfortunately. Let's talk about the cost. You saw that just the trench delivery fee is $3,300, Stephen. It's the same trenching system as we see that you standing by with redoing our water lines out on 2252, right? Same saw?
It's similar. This is more of a disc. The trenching that usually puts for water mains is like a 2-foot wide.
Okay.
And go down probably about 14, 15 feet.
Right.
This will just be a wheel type of saw that goes
Okay.
through there. And it's designed to where it caves in as it's going through, so you don't have a big pile up of spoils on either side of the
Okay.
trench.
So this isn't us going to Tractor Supply and getting a ditch witch. This is a huge rock saw that we're digging down nearly 5 feet into the rock bed. So there will be, this is our estimate, and as with any project goes at home, very rarely does it come in under our planned budget. So it's important that we go, hey, there'll be added expenses that we don't foresee right now, especially to we have $8,000 that we're dedicating from the street improvement fund that we budget for. I think that's going to go up too. So I thank you, Nancy and Stephen, for all the work you've done with this. Robin trying to help with the numbers and going through. And I appreciate that. It's my recommendation, council, that we approve this as written and start acting on it as quickly as possible. And whether it works or not, we'll find out later. And for corporate knowledge to get out of the trenching business regardless of the results of this one. So it's just too expensive and we don't know if it works. So, and you saw that portion in between the 2020 trench and the proposed trench here for this year. Our wildlife specialist from Texas A&M says that it's very possible we could lose all those trees. I don't know. I hope not, and that's why we need to do this, to do everything we can to preserve it. So there's a lot of unknowns. We may have helped out greatly with trenching. We may have missed some things. We're gonna go down another 6 inches and once and for all see if that works. Stephen, did I miss anything?
No, the reason it looks like it's so far out versus the other time is because all the critical infrastructures that's in there. And plus, normally it's about 100 feet that you're recommended to go past the tree. This is at a minimum of 200 feet, so it should be past any any anticipated, if we think that it's a certain amount of feet away, this will surpass that to basically increase our odds.
Thank you for adding that. That's great. Appreciate that. We just want to eliminate as much probability and chance of oak wilt going through the root system to other trees. That's what we're trying to do. Nancy, did you have anything else, please?
The only other thing that I would like to add is, and I forgot to add this earlier, you see the blue line that runs along the edge of the yellow line, right? That is a 2 by 5 foot deep water line trench that was placed in 2016. We have no idea how the root system has grown across that water line, but with this trench and that water line, trench plus the trench that that water line's in, hopefully that will be an additional barrier for the spread through the root system. That's what we're hoping.
Thank you, Nancy. Kay?
Yes, sir. I'm just wondering, the depth that we're proposing, is that the max that they ever, I mean, is there any reason exponentially, financially to go further? Or is it out of the question, or is it not?
They recommend.
Is there a point at which it's not effective?
They recommend 48 inches, but you can go deeper, which will actually cost more. That'd be more of a backhoe or an extreme trencher like you would see for installing a water main. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit bigger wheel that's going to be cutting it, so it should increase our success. We do have a lot of limestone in that area. Like when we were putting in the water mains back in 2016, that was basically a solid limestone vault. If you looked at the water main pictures from the earlier slides from the engineer, you could see how much rock is in some areas where it goes down 10 feet, solid rock. So in those areas, I wouldn't think that you would need to go any deeper, but like I said, it'd probably be very expensive to go deeper in solid rock. If you could go deeper in the soil portions, that would be more preferable. That would help also increase the odds, because we don't really know how deep the roots go in those softer areas.
Okay, and as far as we know, the water line is fine and intact at this point? I mean, we haven't any water laws, so, thank you.
The guy from Texas A&M doesn't put too much faith in utility trenches. Like I said, ours is pretty much in a solid vault of limestone. And plus, we have to go by his trench route, because that's the way we're able to qualify for federal funds or reimbursement. So that's one of the reasons we go by
That's
his
helpful,
trench.
thank you.
Thanks, Kay. Todd? Jesse?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the water trench also, but, since you mentioned that we don't qualify for the reimbursement if we try to use the trench, I was going to ask you what the risk would be to use that water trench, so kind of yeah, okay. You answered my question, I think.
I think it helps us a lot. I think it's going to be a good thing that our trenches are there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good thing that our water trench is so close by. Luckily, it's not going to be in the same saw line as the proposed trench. It's like on the other side of the street, so it's like a double barrier, in my opinion.
How far apart are they?
22 feet, maybe.
Oh, okay, it's a good distance, okay.
Thanks, Jesse. Lise?
So trenching is our only option. I think I've asked this question before, but that's all the arborist can recommend?
I mean, you can treat the trees with fungicide, but it's only going to keep alive from the roots up, and you probably have to do it like 2 times during its lifetime. Trenching is the only thing that'll try to keep it from like metastasizing every which direction. As you can see here, you only got a few crossover breaks, so versus you could probably have a whole circle of dots all over the place outside those lines. So it's containing it, it's slowing it up, I would
Right.
say.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Kelly?
I don't think we have a choice. I think it's worth a try.
Awesome. The old Kansas State try? Okay. All right. Okay, if there's no further discussion, it sounds like we can get a motion to approve, let's say, approve the Oak Wilt abatement project and cost for the city of Garden Ridge as briefed by city manager. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve the Oak Wilt abatement and cost as presented by City Manager Ms. Kane.
We have a motion to approve the Oak Wilt abatement project and cost presented by Nancy Kane. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. That was quick. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on. 9C, ordinance number 240, 10/2023, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, establishing a hotel occupancy tax and setting forth the tax rate to be imposed on hotel occupancy within corporate limits and extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city, setting forth the duties of persons responsible for collection of the tax, providing for criminal penalties and fines, providing for findings of fact, saving, severability, repealer, and effective date, and proper notice and meeting. Before we get into this, I want to make sure I assuage everybody's angst I'm feeling over hearing hotel occupancy tax and hotel occupancy. So what we're talking about here, this is a result of our lengthy discussions when we were amending ordinance number 13, our planning and zoning ordinance, and specifically addressing short-term rentals. And as Cynthia can attest to, hotel occupancy tax, and it says in the ordinance itself that, hey, that's not just hotels, it is Airbnbs, it's bed and breakfasts, it's short-term rentals, and that's what we're talking about here. And this is a result of what we requested Nancy and Cynthia to work on, so that when we have a short-term rental occurring in the city of Garden Ridge, that whether or not it's in favor of or in accordance with the CC&Rs for an HOA is beyond our discussion here because it's not the city's business. But if it is occurring, we want to be able to get the hot tax, if you will, the occupancy tax off that, and be able to use that as revenue for the city of Garden Ridge. So any questions on that? It's for short-term rentals. We're not building a hotel. Okay. Nancy, anything to further address with this?
No, it's been, Cynthia has written the ordinance for us, and it complies with the state statutes. The language that's required to be in there is in there.
Okay, thank you. Cynthia, anything else to add? What's happening with state laws with this, and anything for everybody's knowledge?
Changes there. The laws with short-term rentals continues to change, and what I will say is that those portions of it are not affected, or the hotel tax portion of it is not affected by the change in those laws that affect short-term rental. So to the extent that at some point in time we get to a point where the legislators deem that cities may not regulate short-term rental as to public health, safety, welfare things, the tax portion of it is very likely to still survive, because not only does the city get its portion of that type of tax, but so does the county and the state.
Everybody's got to get their cut, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Just, council, to clarify, so in the definitions here, hotel, a building in which members of the public obtain sleeping accommodations, words. It's a hotel
lodging house, tourist home, vacation rental, bed and breakfast. It doesn't include a hospital, sanitarium, nursing home, or a dorm. So, and then Cynthia, I had one question on, talk to us about what we can use the tax proceeds for legally.
Okay, so the use of hotel tax is very limited. It is a dedicated fund, and so the corollary to that is hotel tax money is used to, the phraseology is to put heads in beds. So it is designed to promote tourism, to promote growth and marketing of the city. There are 9 categories that each expense of hotel tax must fit into the actual category. And of course, you must have an agreement with whomever the distribution of that hotel tax is going to. And there are certain parameters to those agreements that must be met. The processing of all of this, you know, the folks pay in their hotel tax, and eventually the idea is that the city has enough funding accumulated in there to then start begin looking at marketing and the categories that you can use those taxes for. And primarily, the first thing that comes to mind, just because, you know, scrolling through the agenda here, is that, you know, the city is looking for signage and wayfinding signs and so forth. And so to the extent that the city can accumulate that, kind of time the project, there could be some funds there that will help, you know, the city fund that type of project.
Thank you. That was my follow-on question. I appreciate that. And what this will do, because we didn't have this ordinance in place prior, is now that any existing short-term rentals in the city of Garden Ridge or future need to come to the city to obtain a business permit, and that's how we establish how the tax money will be accounted for, correct? Okay. Okay, council, you've heard my few questions here. I'll start over on the right. Kelly, what questions do you have? Lisa? Jesse?
None.
Todd?
I'm glad we, excuse me, that we clarified that we're not looking to put a hotel
Yeah.
in the city. That was a very hot button item in the past, so thanks for clarifying that.
I could feel the angst out there, so, okay. Okay. All right, if we don't have any further questions, can I get a motion to approve ordinance number 24010-2023 as written?
I move to approve ordinance 24010-2023 as written.
Motion to approve, and do we have a second?
Second.
Wow, that's quick, okay. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion, council? I'll call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously, and we have adopted ordinance number 240-10-2023. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Marissa. Great work, everybody. Thank you, council. That concludes item number 9. On to item number 10, 10A, updates and city council projects. A1, mitigation of growth and encroachment impacts on Garden Ridge. Lisa, do you have any updates for this month?
Actually, I'm going to defer to Jesse a little bit. He mentioned that we've got another development coming in, and I think he knows more about it than I do.
You may proceed, sir.
Actually, it's just a rumor at this point, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna, you know, that's all it is right now.
Okay,
So
I
I'm
thought
not-
you had
nothing else to
identified
say.
some land or something that,
Well, there's some property, the property's on 2252 just past Heimer Estates. But
Okay.
that's as far as I know.
okay,
And that's only from our roofer information that I got. So I
got it.
don't have enough detail to really.
I may poke around a little more then.
Yeah, you make, yeah.
We can ask.
The
we can ask
roofers,
our
the
county
roofers are going to
commissioner.
know, so that's a,
The land has not been purchased yet by the developer, so.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Okay, well, I may follow up with our county commissioner and see what's happening there.
and Lisa and I are in the process of reinvigorating our discussions with the city of San Antonio to look at extending our ETJ and going from there. We're reinvigorating that, and you can expect to hear something in November. Hopefully, a meeting will have occurred by then. Lisa, anything else to add?
No.
Okay, great. Item number 2, economic development and council liaison to Tri-County. That's Kelly and Kay. Who wants to go? We had a good luncheon today with all three of us there. So Kay?
Yeah, for those of you, we mentioned this last month, that for October, November, December, Tri-County has chosen the Garden Ridge facility for its monthly luncheons, which is great. So today was the first one, and the point man, so to speak, was the mayor, and he enjoyed talking about our city and introducing a lot of the people who'd never been to Garden Ridge. I think everyone had a good time. And the sponsor was a company that we very much intend to pursue to relocate, possibly on 2252. But it was a good turnout, and we did have some leftover Raptitude sandwiches, so Kelly and I split them up, and I took them to PD. I hope Ron knows that, and the balance to fire department as well, and they were very grateful.
Awesome, Kay, thanks. And what's our next event with Tri-County?
There's a golf tournament is Saturday, I believe. Saturday, and then there's a mixer coming up this month. Pardon me?
All right,
Okay,
Kelly, go.
Kelly is going to give that all to you because he's looking at his phone.
Yeah, by my estimates, we had, at least 300 people here today? No, there were probably 100 people, 100 people at the luncheon, but I would say at least 60 to 70 of those who have never even probably been to Garden Ridge. So that was a great event to get people in our city. So, as far as future events, Glow Golf next week, sponsored by Leapfrog Promotions. Tri-County Chamber of Commerce. There are a few teams left, a few spots left. Then we have October 26th mixer with the Rotary. So Pints for Polio at Fajitas and Margaritas, which is a part of Bluebonnet Palace. So looking forward to that fundraiser. November 14th is the luncheon sponsored by Methodist Northeast at our spot here. So they'll be back here hanging out with us. Then November 15th is the elected officials reception, and we get that one here this year as well. And that pulls quite a crowd. So a lot of elected officials, city officials that come from all over. So looking forward to that one. That's all I have.
What day was that again?
The elected officials?
Yeah, 15th? Okay,
15th, yes.
thank you. Make sure I write that one down.
And then as far as the EDC front, no new developments with any of the investors I've been speaking with, so.
Okay, thank you. On to item number 10, A3, AAMPO. Jesse?
Just a couple of topics we discussed last week. Two of them dealt with VIA Metropolitan Transit. One was the Advanced Rapid Transit that's going to be on basically San Pedro, north-south. And then they're working on east-west. These are more ongoing, really for San Antonio purposes only. Then they also had a safety discussion on safety records. One topic of interest was, I don't have all the details because I didn't get a copy of the charts yet, but TxDOT did a unified transportation plan update for fiscal year 23 and up through 25, look ahead. And then basically reviewed projects, looked at changes to the planning as far as move some forward, move some back, depending on budgets and actually project readiness. Project readiness is a big effect on moving projects in and out. Some cases, projects were ready now, they're moving funds around. And these are all, the closest impact is 1604. Eventually they'll bring all the widening of 1604 all the way to, past 35 here. So that's way in the future, but it's coming. Right now, they're still trying to get funding between Redland and 281. So on 1604. That's it. I got more to cover on TxDOT later on.
Thank you, Jesse. Moving on, you're still on for water.
No updates at this time.
Okay, great. Todd, what do you got for Comal ISD?
As far as a council liaison goes, I don't have anything. We had no activity this last month with any of the school board or anything like that. At least I didn't.
We had in the homecoming parade, in the vehicle with me was Dr. Chapman and Lisa and David Krasinski, our school board member. So, and we didn't really talk. We threw out candy and we chatted a little bit.
You remember any good, we talked about just updates to Davenport High School, and we were pressing Dr. Chapman with Fieldhouse, Fieldhouse, Fieldhouse. Anything to add on that?
That did happen, and he sort of hung his head out the window, candy.
Yeah, he threw out a ton of candy right then and looked outside. But
He said, we're working on it.
David Krasinski was still pressing him hard with that, so we appreciate everything he's doing for us. And we're working hard for that. And we did get the two portable bleachers out at Davenport, and they were being used at the homecoming game like you read about, so. Okay, awesome. And Kay and Kelly, welcome signage. You go.
Yeah, we've whittled it down from about 363 candidates to 3, 2 of which the paperwork Marissa has will be distributing to you guys. I ask that you review it, give me your opinion, and when I receive the other one this week, and please respond in writing to Ms. Kane so that she may distribute it to everyone. Your opinions, good, bad, and ugly. I mean, like, I love this look, or I hate this look. I mean, anything and everything you have, just let it all hang out, please, so that next month we can vote on something if we have the money. The projects are expensive. There are also some pictures in there that are sample, just area treatments that I don't even have prices on, but obviously we range from probably a $1,000 sign up to, we're talking 15,000, but they're beautiful. I will say they're beautiful. So I have no bias to any one of them. I think the 2 that we finally received are good companies with which to work. And then Jeff is our guy for the water tank project, and he's supposed to get his final to me this week as well. And we are, as we have discussed before, going to put our logo on the storage tank down at Shanethal, only on the ground storage tank. We're not going to do anything on the elevated at this time. Stephen and the mayor and myself met with Mr. Liebner a few weeks ago, and based on the lifespan and so on of what's already up there, it would be cost inefficient to go forth now and change out that logo. So we feel like the best thing to put the money into is the ground storage tank, which is the one coming Shanethal. Right now has nothing on it. And we will, we can determine which logo to go with the green, maybe a touch of brown or rust around the bottom, so on and so on. If I have any questions, please direct them to Nancy or to Marissa, and they can forward them to me.
All right, thank you. Kelly, anything to add on that? All right.
I do know Mr. Lee. I have known Mr. Liebner for several years, just from different contacts, and I can tell you he won't lead us down the wrong path. So he's very anxious to help us. So, and he's in a position really where he's not a sales position; he's more of a management position. So I appreciate the input he's giving us. So.
I was going to say, he was also very helpful to Stephen on some questions with his TECQ work and so on.
Awesome, thank you. And just to clarify, that you and I had that meeting prior to Kelly coming on and it being the Kay and Kelly show, right? So, okay. All right. Awesome, thank you for that update. We look forward to the stuff you're going to give us through Marissa and Nancy, and council will make sure we get our inputs into Kay and Kelly. That concludes item number 10. Item number 11, discussion of future agenda items. We're not talking about it, but if it's something that you want to put on November's agenda, speak up. Kelly? Lise? Jesse? Nope. Todd? Okay. All right. On to item number 12, citizen comment period. You don't have to have signed up for this one. You can come on up and speak. You'll have 2 minutes. Again, we can't talk about what you're speaking and interact with you, but we are taking notes and we are listening. If you would please state your name and where you're from, and then afterwards talk to Marissa so we can write it all down and make it official. Yes, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Ricky Baker. I live at 21029 Hickory Bend. My wife and I bought the lot out here almost 37 years ago, 36 this past January. We bought because it was safe out here, the beauty of it, and also the peacefulness. We've raised our children here. They've gone away to college and have come back, and now we have 5 grandchildren that are growing here. I would like for you to consider or to think about seriously to have an outdoor entertainment venue out of old shipping containers, at least that's my understanding. This will invite noise, possibly intoxicated drivers, especially with a 4-lane roadway that we will have here soon, possibly crime, and possibly decrease in our properties, our property values. To me, if you care about Garden Ridge or the citizens of Garden Ridge and about the children here in Garden Ridge, you would sincerely consider not allowing this type of venue to exist in Garden Ridge. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please see Marissa, Ricky. There you go. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself, and then afterwards, go see Marissa.
Tom Klimas, I live on Meadow Rue. The Revival. I've been a resident since 1994 who enjoys the tranquility associated with the town. Highway and railroad noise continues to diminish the peace and quiet characteristic of Garden Ridge. And now the potential construction of the Revival on 2252 does not mix with the pleasant harmony found here. I think it would be prudent for the City Council to support the community in generating headwinds to thwart this intrusion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. That will conclude item number 12. On to item number 13, reports and comments from mayor and city council members. I'll go to Kay first. Anything on this list you want to talk about?
No, sir, we covered Tri-County.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Todd?
I am going to bring one thing up, and it has to do with Davenport High School. There's doing a lot of good things at Davenport High School. I know Carmen McCall, looks like she's left already, mentioned the band. So let's talk briefly about their band. They had a band competition this last weekend. They came in first place for 4A. Best color guard, best percussion, best music, best marching. They were the state grand champions. Pretty impressive. That's what that band noise gets us at 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, no kidding. That's all I got.
That's amazing. Go Wolves.
And I'm not a band dad.
No, you're not a band dad. Go Wolves. Good job, guys. That's awesome. Jesse?
Yeah, I have several items here. I'll start off with the annual car show coming up on Saturday 21st. I know we covered it already several times, but just a reminder, 9 to 4. We're hoping to get about 180 or more cars in there. Free admission to spectators. There are plans to have a tribute to late Councilman Brian Lancy. The plan is for Missy to select a car and give a trophy in his honor. So I think that's great to be able to do. So that's the current plan, or at least what I heard last. So again, there's flyers up on the table over there with some QR code cards also. So hope anybody can come. Also, when I was at the TxDOT Technical Advisory Committee meeting last Friday, after the meeting, I spoke to TxDOT's Director of Transportation for San Antonio District, mainly concerning the surveying work going on 3009. And, I keep reminding him about these subdivisions that are coming up, the increased traffic from that. So all that information, I sent him information on that. With the surveying done going on, all that's being passed on to the group of planners in his department. And they're going to be using that to develop plans, either short-term or long-term plans. Don't have a timing yet, but, of course, the long-term plans is eventually get to 4 lanes, but there may be some other intermediate changes that can be done, so that's what they're working on. But again, I don't have any timing, no timeline or anything, can get any commitment at that point. The next topic, in a way, is connected to Comal ISD, so I'm stretching it a little bit. Northeast Lakeview College has opened a New Braunfels location. They're hosting an open house tomorrow, the 11th, from 4 to 6. It's a come-and-go event, and their facility is located on FM 758 on the New Braunfels Airport property. So that's great thing. They're really expanding northeast, Lakeview College, so that's great news for Comal County. That's it.
Awesome, Jesse. Thanks. Lisa? Kelly? Outstanding. We mentioned before a record turnout for families of Garden Ridge Adopt a Highway program. Thank you, Todd, for putting that together in my absence, going to College Station to watch a game. We won that game. I don't know when the next one is going to be, but I sure love all the support we get from the city and the Scouts and Davenport High School through National Honor Society, who are just crushing it, as well as the football team. So thanks so much. And the tennis team. And whoever else was there. Thank you so much. Northeast Partnership, we have a luncheon on Thursday of this week at 11:30 at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Chris Suchan, the chief meteorologist of Channel 4 WOAI News, is going to be there as our guest, along with his wife Amber. My wife Megan is going to be there, and all of you are going to be there, right? I'm sure you're going to be there. So, and Chris Suchan's my new buddy. So, love to see you there. That's all I've got. Anybody else have anything else for item number 13? Okay, Chris, you heard me say it. All right, on to item number 14, adjournment. There being no further business, the city council special meeting is adjourned at 7:56 p.m. Thanks for coming. Happy Halloween.